Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. As you know, I'm in a trip right now, and of course I'm gonna try my best to update you with a daily for Bitcoin, and potentially, of course, if I could possibly do it at night, of course, with additional update, that would be, of course, a pleasure. So let's start for the daily chart here. We are looking for Bitcoin right now for a bear market for a wave 2 after we finish, of course, our bull run as 1 2 3 4 5. We finished a wave 1 here, and we are looking for a wave 2 in 3 waves toward the downside. This wave 2 is gonna need at least the minimum requirement time for 0.38 Fib time, of course, which is at least November 2025. We need to see 3 wave structure finished, of course, inside this blue box. Now, as we know, Bitcoin is a very impulsive when it comes to a wave 3/3, since of course we are currently in a wave 2 and we're looking for a wave 3, which is gonna be, of course, a very massive and explosive, because this might be a wave 3/3. And if you take a look, of course, at the deep analysis on the weekend that we made, of course, you will understand exactly what do I mean with the wave 3/3. So you can find the deep analysis in the playlist of the deep analysis. Now, this wave 2 requires, of course, 3 waves toward the downside. We are currently in the first wave, which should be a wave A or a wave W. Whatever is gonna happen here, it is of course a corrective wave. It's gonna end up at the end with 3 corrective waves. We are looking for a wave B after it, and then of course one more move toward the downside to reach the perfect time and the perfect fib level. As you know, we have a very strong technical support at this area, where we might of course find a very strong resistance and then start to move toward the upside even before reaching the 0.38 for a wave 2, of course only on the logarithmic chart. On the 2-hour chart, we are looking at the most possible scenario for this leg toward the downside, where we are looking for A B, and a C, potentially to finish, of course, this first wave for your bear market, of course, as a big wave A here, A, B, and a C. We have finished 3 waves toward the downside with an A, and potentially we are currently in a running triangle for an A, B, C, D, and an E, of course, toward the upside. Currently, we are in wave D. Potentially, we're looking for a zigzag. We have started already with an impulse and finish, of course, with an ending diagonal for this impulse, and we are retracing correctively right now toward the upside. And of course, we're still expecting one more leg toward the downside. Currently, this is the highest possibility, of course, on the 2-hour chart. The second highest possibility is a bigger WXY for a wave B here, where you have finished already 3 corrective waves, and you are looking right now for 3 other corrective waves for your X, and you're looking for a wave Y to the upside still. So meaning right now we are still looking to finish this wave X in 3 waves as well, potentially, and then moving with another structure for wave Y rather than an impulse. If we find an impulse, of course, this will turn into an A, B, and a C as well, as a different scenario. Now, the last scenario that I would like to start with, of course, or the last scenarios, are a big wave C, meaning you have finished a wave A here, and you have finished a wave B in a 3 corrective wave, and you're starting a wave C toward the downside, which is a little bit less possibility, and that because I believe that the wave B still need time to finish, of course, this area based on the time required from the wave A. However, if we are going to take the low and to finish this wave A, that is the first possibility, which it can be, of course, a W, X, Y, X, and a Z scenario here, where you have a zigzag for the W, very choppy X, another zigzag for the Y, very choppy X, and again a final zigzag for the Z. In this case scenario, you would like to move towards the downside, taking the low, of course, and finishing a final wave A. And this is the shortest wave A that it can have, or it can happen, of course, by finishing a zigzag here with one more move toward the downside. The next scenario, of course, would be an ending diagonal, of course, for this A, B, and a C as well, where you have 3 waves A and you have a wave B. You have an ending diagonal here, where you would like to see, of course, as well zigzag for the 1, as you can see, correction for the 2, and another zigzag for the 3, meaning the same scenarios right now are requiring, of course, one more drop toward the downside as a zigzag. We need to see an impulse toward the downside to finish this zigzag, and of course finishing with it in this possibility a wave 3 and then 4 and a 5. With this possibility, of course, we're gonna finish an ending diagonal and a final wave A, and starting, of course, a rebound toward the upside for a wave B. The last scenario that we are talking here about to take, of course, a wave C toward the downside for, of course, after having A, B, and a C, is, of course, an impulse toward the downside having a 1, a 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. You have finished so far the impulse for the wave 1. You're looking at, of course, corrective wave for the wave 2, and you're looking toward the downside. So as you have realized, most of the scenarios are requiring, of course, a move toward the downside impulsively after, of course, one more leg for this correction. We're gonna dive deeper a little bit on the 1 hour chart to see, of course, what is going on inside this area. So if we move inside this area to analyze this corrective wave, we have, of course, 3 waves toward the upside, a very corrective, where we can see, of course, that is lack of an impulse here, and especially because of this drop of this wick here, we have an interruption with, it was a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5. Your wave 5 was not finished before taking the low again, or potentially it can be finished, of course, very small wave toward the toward the upside, and having, of course, correction and continuation for another structure here to start, of course, something as a wave C or as a wave Y, meaning we are in a W, X, and a Y, or we are, of course, in an A, B, and a C zigzag toward the upside. If we see, of course, higher prices still, of course, we have to finish here as an impulse, a structure potentially, or as a 3-wave structure, meaning this impulse anyway has to be finished here as a wave C for a zigzag in case we are in W, X, and a Y. Or if we are in a B, and a C, you have 3 waves toward the upside. Your wave B should be finished, and your wave C has to be, of course, kind of like ending diagonal or an impulse toward the upside. However, I believe that it can be, of course, possible to take the high here, but it is, of course, a low possibility because we have an impulse toward the downside here. And if we take, of course, the fib level for an impulse in a wave 2, you would like to hit, of course, perfectly the fib levels in the green box, of course, to test this area before, of course, moving for an option toward the upside. If the 886 is taken, therefore we start to consider, of course, that we're gonna take the high sooner or later, and of course we might see something else unfolding. Higher potential is, of course, continuation towards the downside, especially from this blue box or even from this area. That was it for Bitcoin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.